Older Model 2 and 4-seat airplanes can be the perfect ownership starter airplane for you. You can get them at a great deal. They're tried and true designs, and there are often a lot of spare used parts out there that you can get to be able to still maintain them. So we scoured Trade-A-Plane and Barnstormers, and here are the 5 that are most plentiful up for sale on them that are in the $50,000 range.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
First up is the Cessna 150 and 152. The Cessna 150 and 152 are solid 2-seat training airplanes, a great first ownership airplane for building time or cruising around solo or with one other person, as long as you pack light. So Cessna produced more than 31,000 Cessna 150s and 152s from the late 1950s to the mid-1980s. The Cessna 150 features a Continental O200 100 horsepower engine and the 152 a Lycoming O235 engine that gets 110 horsepower. Both have economical fuel burns around 6 gallons an hour or less. The 150 has a maximum structural cruising speed of 104 knots calibrated airspeed, and the 152's is right around 110 knots. Now, these aircraft can be equipped for VFR or IFR flying. I've actually gotten to fly 150s and 152s all around the Mid-Atlantic area and even in Alaska from Palmer near Anchorage up north of the Arctic Circle into the Brooks Range. They're really solid aircraft. AOPA even gave away a reimagined Cessna 152 as its sweepstakes airplane in 2015. Now, if you want to get an idea of what it would be like to fly the airplane, travel in it, and how you can pack, check out Fly Me to the Fun on YouTube or Instagram. You can follow them. They fly around in the 2-seat aircraft and have an absolute blast. We'll drop links to their YouTube page and Instagram in the description below. Next is the Piper Cherokee 140. So the Piper Cherokee 140 can be a 2-seat or 4-seat aircraft. You could take your family or multiple friends along on flights. As long as you carefully calculate the weight and balance, you might need to fly with partial tanks. So it was designed to be a low-cost airplane that handles crosswinds well. Piper built more than 10,000 140s during its 13-year run. Now, the 1964 Cherokee 140 featured a 140 horsepower Lycoming O320, and the 1967 model featured the same engine but with 150 horsepower. Burns about 8.5 gallons an hour at 75% power. You can also get a Cherokee 140 with the 160 horsepower upgrade. Now, this airplane can be equipped for VFR or IFR flying. The Cherokee 140 was actually the first airplane that AOPA technical editor Jill Tallman bought. She was looking for a model that had lots of aircraft on the used market, plenty of parts still available, and more than enough capacity for 2 people, luggage, and full fuel. So when she planned her flight, she planned for 110 knots cruise. You can see how Jill narrowed in on the Cherokee 140 and follow her through the buying process. Just check out her article from the September 2011 issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine. We'll drop a link to that in the description below. All right, the third most plentiful on the list is the Grumman AA1 series. So it's not a Piper or a Cessna, but the Grumman AA1 series is a solid budget buy. More than 1,500 of the 2-seat all-metal airplanes were built, and there are a good number with the Lycoming O235 108 horsepower engine on the market in the 50,000s. The aircraft has a bubble canopy for great visibility. It can even slide back so you can enjoy flying it in the open. It has crisp control handling, and some have said it feels like a fighter jet just without the fighter jet performance. Stalls in it are reportedly sportier than those in Cessnas, though. It holds 24 gallons of fuel and burns just over 6 gallons an hour, so economical there. It'll cruise about 108 knots at 75% power. It can also be equipped for VFR or IFR flying, and you might be able to find some on the used market that have already had panel upgrades. So check out AOPA senior content producer Ian Twombly's 2017 article about this budget buy airplane to learn more about it. The Vans Aircraft RV3 is next up in this price range. You actually find some of those even below $50,000. So the Vans RV3 is produced by Vans Aircraft. That's the world's largest experimental kit manufacturer in the world. And if you enjoy speed, aerobatics, and flying solo, this could be the entry airplane for you. The single-seat taildragger really launched Vans Aircraft. Founder and designer Dick Van Grunsven flew the RV3 to EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin in the early 1970s. The aircraft was a hit there and orders started coming in. The RV3 features a 150 horsepower Lycoming 0320 engine. You'll cruise around 170 knots at 75% power, and range for the aircraft is just over 500 nautical miles. Now you can equip it for VFR or IFR flying even. See how AOPA Editor-at-Large Dave Hirschman upgraded his RV3 panel for IFR flying in the article Avionics Overkill in AOPA Pilot Magazine. We'll drop a link to that in the description below. Finally, the Piper J3 Cub. The Piper J3 Cub is one of the most iconic general aviation airplanes of all time, and that's why this 65 horsepower two-seat tube and fabric taildragger costs more than most other comparable taildraggers. You'll find most in the mid to upper $40,000s to more than $50,000. It features a Continental Model A65-8 engine. It burns about 5 gallons an hour and cruises about 65 knots. So you're not going anywhere fast, but you'll love flying wherever you go. Piper built nearly 20,000 J3 Cubs. They're economical to operate. They don't have an electrical system, so you will have to hand prop them to start. A lot of your flying will be solo unless you don't use full tanks or your passenger is really light. That's because the J3 Cubs listed on Trade-A-Plane all have 9-gallon tanks. You solo this taildragger from the back, but when you fly it, you'll truly enjoy the romance of flying and be taken back to a simpler time. To get a taste of what it's like to own and fly a J3 Cub and just enjoy that lifestyle, check out Bananas or Joe Costanza on YouTube. We'll drop a link in the description below. So have you owned or flown any of these airplanes on the list? If so, let us know what you think about them in the comments below.